Welcome to Longterm. I'm Ty King in this podcast where we explore different topics about recovery. We started this whole journey two and a half years ago now, looking into why is it that people go through recovery from substance use issues, right? Why is it that they seem to have a happier, sort of more goal-driven life than the average person, right? Somebody who doesn't have any issues, quote unquote, issues.
Right.
And then through this journey, we're figuring out that there's usually a dual diagnosis. There's a reason, there's a cause of why somebody turned to a substance in the first place. It was usually to escape something from their past, whether it was a trauma or there's something else there, right?
Very true.
And that's something that we're all suffering from. We all need to recover from that. Maybe you haven't used substances yet, but like you still have that thing that they used it to cover in the first place. And so, alcohol is a big part of that, right?
It is.
It is.
It really is, isn't it? And what's the strange thing to me about alcohol, it's the most
Yeah.
accepted drug
Right.
in the world.
Right.
And it is a drug. And to be clear, I'm not anti.
Move this a little bit closer.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not anti-alcohol.
Yeah.
It just no longer serves me. And so I choose not to have it.
So we're sitting right now in
Yeah.
Beyond the Bar, which is something I was kind of excited whenever I heard from a friend that this existed here in Dallas, Texas, of all places. Never would have thought. So my family comes from Dallas, and so there's I hear the stories about it and all that stuff. And so, but to be a bar that is for people that don't want to drink the alcohol, but they still want those same the drinks. And I guess there's a psychology behind it as far as
Yes.
you're getting some of the feelings or remembrances and stuff. And so, Julie, I'm excited to talk to you about this and why you started this, how it started, and what are your insights into this. And so, first of all, if you don't mind just introducing yourself,
Oh, sure.
where you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. Well, my name is Julie Robinson, and I am the co-founding partner of Beyond the Bar Bottle Shop here in Richardson, aka Dallas, Texas.
So is there a big difference in Richardson and Dallas?
Not really. I mean, we're 5 miles away from Dallas,
Okay.
but
Consider, one blob and
well,
move through it. And
it's
they're like, no, get it right. We're in Richardson.
well, Richardson has a lot of amazing food.
Oh,
So, a lot of ethnic food, and
yeah.
that's really why my husband and I started coming here for the great food.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of what drew us here, and then we eventually wound up buying a house and having a family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, house, family,
Mhm.
moved here.
Right.
What inspired you to open this bar? So, what's the story behind that?
Excuse me. So, well, my husband and I owned bars and restaurants
Like regular
previously.
alcohol serving licensed
Correct.
bars.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And my husband had some health issues
Mhm.
and had to stop drinking. And honestly, I mean, looking back, hindsight's 2020, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I
Always.
definitely drank too much, and I'm a Gen Xer, and we were obsessed with alcohol. Every weekend when we were in high school, we're like, "How can I get a hold of some alcohol? What
Yeah.
can I do? I've got to get a hold of some alcohol."
Mhm.
And so, even though my parents set a really good example for me, that was kind of the culture,
Yeah.
very and Dallas has a very big alcohol culture. But anyway, my husband stopped drinking because of health issues, and I slowed down and eventually stopped drinking myself. And so we really got interested in alcohol-free because we still owned the bars, and people would ask him, "Why aren't you drinking?"
Yeah.
And so he started to drink alc-free beer, and he was part of the party, so it was kind of like a cultural, he was able to mingle
Yeah.
without people asking questions. He enjoys the taste of beer, and there's also the ritual of enjoying the beverage. And so he got all of that from just a simple alc-free beer. And so we're like, "Hey," and honestly, when you're drinking something that's alcohol-free, and I've been alcohol-free coming up um, next month, it'll be 3 years.
Mhm.
My husband's over 4 years alcohol-free. But I think when you're drinking something and with a friend
Yeah.
and it's an alcohol-free beverage, it's not that you get drunk, but you have good feelings because you're enjoying a delicious cocktail, you're having fun with your friends. So you do get a little bit of a dopamine hit
Yeah.
when you're doing that. And so we did a lot of research into saying, hey, what's out there?
Mhm.
What kinds of products are out there? And then we got interested in building a business. And so we started as a pop-up because we wanted to kind of test the waters and see, hey, you know, are people really interested in this?
Right.
Are we just interested?
Yeah.
Or are there other people that are?
Is there a market for this? Yeah.
Is there a market? And there was, resounding yes.
Mhm.
And so we founded Beyond the Bar in October of 2022. And then we actually did our pop-ups for Dry January of 2023. And then a few months later, we opened our brick and mortar in May of 2023.
Wow.
So we're coming up on 3 years now.
That's incredible. And I imagine especially for people who are in recovery from, alcoholism and,
Mhm.
like you said, you realized you were drinking too much. You didn't realize it at the time,
Right.
but looking back at you're like, hey, that was a
Exactly.
little bit too much. For those people who wanted to quit, but, maybe they did drink, you do miss like the socializing part of that, right?
Right.
And so I'm sure there's some sort of psychological part in your brain that like associates the taste, the flavor of
Right.
the cocktail, the mocktail, you know what I mean, to those times that you had before, but now you're not buzzed and you can actually get behind the wheel after you leave here.
Exactly. Now, just to clarify, some people don't feel comfortable having non-alcoholic drinks or zero proof drinks. It might be triggering to them
Sure.
and make them want to have the real thing,
Right.
and we're very sensitive to that. So we offer things like we have botanicals that have their own flavor. We have adaptogenic and nootropic offerings too that actually help you maybe relax a little bit, wake up a little bit, focus a little bit, or maybe kind of a combination
Mhm.
thereof. And so non-alcoholic and zero proof options that taste like the spirit or the beers or the wines are not for everybody.
Right.
And I just want to clarify that. So each person has to decide what they feel comfortable with. To me, like, I love the non-alc wines. I really like the botanicals. I also enjoy the adaptogenic and nootropic offerings. And some people also enjoy the THC offerings, and we do have some of those as well. So a lot of people are Cali sober. So it just kind of depends on the person, what they
Right.
feel
Well,
most comfortable with.
exactly. And we've learned or heard so many times from the professionals of like,
Mm,
recovery is not a one size fits all, right? It
right.
has to be tailored to the individual.
Exactly.
And there are even people who believe in, harm reduction, right? Or reducing your drinking. So this would be really helpful for them as well. People that,
Totally.
yeah, they need the
Mm,
drinks, but they don't want to, they're trying to wean themselves down to, a certain amount of
exactly.
alcohol. And so being able to do this as an alternative is great, great offering.
It is, and there's actually a term for that. It's called zebra striping.
Zebra striping.
Yeah,
Like that.
so let's
Okay.
say during the week you have non-alc, and during the weekend you have alc, or maybe you're out and about on the weekend. You're like, hey, I want to keep the party going, and you have an alc drink, and then you have a non-alc drink. And so there are a lot of different ways to do it, but I've really seen that people are a lot more health conscious now, and they're like, hey, I see alcohol is really having its cigarette moment.
Hmm.
There will always be people that smoke. There will always be people that drink alcohol.
Yeah.
And I'm not again, I'm not anti-alcohol. I'm not
Right.
anti-smoking. I just choose not to do that. It's almost like being a vegetarian or a vegan, you know?
And then providing those options for other people to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Super helpful.
Exactly.
So another part of your business is the events. And so you're bringing this to other people to have them, give them options. And so it's
Yes.
really interesting because I go to a lot of the behavioral health, like galas and events and everything that happen across the country. And so every time I go to one of these, it's interesting because there'll be a mix Sometimes you'll have nothing at all, but sometimes there'll be an open bar because you want the donors
Right.
to be a little loose and with their money. You know what I mean? So when the auction comes around, you want them to have had a few cocktails and all that. But
Totally.
it's kind of harmful in that they invite a lot of people who are in recovery, and that can be also triggering, or maybe they just choose not to be around it whatsoever.
We have done some galas like, the Dallas Pets Alive and, trying to remember. It was the Dallas Pets Alive soiree.
Mm,
That's their big fundraiser.
okay.
And so we were the dry bar there, and they also had a wet bar.
Wow.
And so for the donors,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so that worked out really well.
Yeah.
And we do corporate events like that. We just did a speakeasy party for Freddie Mac
Okay.
for 400 people.
Yeah.
We had 2 dry bars there.
Nice.
We've done a dry wedding. We had 2 dry bars there, and they had 1 wet bar. So, absolutely, it's just really about giving people options,
That's awesome.
you know?
And I know you when you first, move over to transition to this,
Right.
like what is available out there. Were you kind of surprised by how much, non-alcoholic, beverages and everything were available in there or
Yes, and
alternatives?
it's grown.
Yeah.
It's grown a lot. Now, not all non-alc and zero proof is created equal.
What does that mean?
Um, okay. So, everything we have here is curated.
Okay.
So, non-alcoholic had alcohol in it at one time, but then the alcohol was filtered out.
Really?
So, there remains just 0.5% or less. So, that's about the same amount you get in a glass of orange juice. Um, but it maintains a lot of the mouthfeel and also a lot of the flavor. So, you're going to see a lot of beers and wines and some of the spirits that are non-alcoholic. Zero proof never had alcohol to begin with, but they layer together flavors to sometimes imitate the spirit, even adding something to give you a little bit of a burn, like capsaicin fruit, which is a relative of the bell pepper. It doesn't taste like a bell pepper, but it gives you that little bit of a burn. And other times they make botanicals that don't really taste like a spirit. And then another option would be the adaptogenic and nootropic spirits
Okay.
that kind of have their own flavor profile. So there's a lot out there. It's all top shelf. There is no well drink in the non-alc world. But not everything's good, though. I'm gonna tell you up
Right.
front. I have tasted some stuff that I was like, "Oh, no," and I immediately poured it down the drain.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because it wasn't any good.
Mm,
Now, you gotta keep in mind, like, some people love Negronis, right?
yeah.
I'm not a Negroni fan, but I carry the best non-alc Negroni there is,
Okay.
the phony Negroni.
Phone in Negroni.
It's
Like,
really good.
yeah.
It's for a Negroni, it's good.
Yeah.
I just don't
For, pretty.
I just personally don't like that flavor
Sure.
profile. It's a little too bitter for me,
Yeah.
but for people that love Negronis, they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's some good stuff."
That's awesome. Do you have anything that is like a major, it's like people are coming here all the time and asking for it?
Oh, yeah, big time. Like Kava Haven.
Okay.
So, kava is a root that
Mm,
will help you relax,
yeah.
and it's very bitter.
Right.
But Kava Haven is a spirit that they've paired it with lemon juice and ginger, and it will make your mouth a little bit numb. So you can actually mix it with club soda or a citrus Waterloo.
Hmm.
I even make a coconut pineapple painkiller with it.
Okay.
It's great with very cold, low sugar pineapple juice. Um, so anyway, yes. So that's one thing we carry that people love,
Really.
because it's hard to find. And one of the kind of differentiators besides the fact that everything here is non-alcoholic or zero proof is we have a tasting room and lounge. And so our guests can try up to 3 of our spirits, like a little sampling of them.
Hmm.
And of course, I also make full-size cocktails available for purchase that are non-alc or zero proof
Right.
too.
Yeah.
And so we don't just sell the product, we're knowledgeable about it. Everybody that works with us has tried the product, they know about it.
Hmm.
So it's not like you're going to a big box store where they have no idea.
Right.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is our passion. We want to be able to help you find something that, you can enjoy, whether you're making drinks at home or you're going to a party and you're bringing something,
Yeah.
or you're hosting guests, that don't drink alcohol.
Exactly right. Like, having those options is huge, especially in the recovery community.
It is.
Yeah, so glad to know that that exists, and I don't think a lot of people do, or enough people do.
Right.
So hopefully we're changing that a little bit with this message.
Hopefully, but it's important
Yeah,
because, and I can tell you, I mean, being alcohol free myself for
right.
coming up on 3 years, what keeps me on the wagon
Mm,
is having options.
yeah.
I'm not only am I the founder of Beyond the Bar, I'm a customer.
Mhm.
And so I have stuff at home. And when I go to a party, I plan ahead. I'm like, okay, because a lot of my friends still drink, but I always bring something. And there's always another friend or two that don't drink or are cutting down on drinking.
Yeah,
But having a sober drink when you go somewhere that doesn't have non alc or zero proof is very important. And my sober drink is just club soda with a heavy splash of crayon and a twist of lime.
okay.
And that's my drink. I feel comfortable. It tastes great. It's low in sugar. So having a plan, especially during the holidays, is very important
Mm,
because it can be tempting
yeah,
to want to drink because the holidays are a stressful time,
absolutely.
and so that's why I always know, okay, I'm bringing this to this party. When I come home, I'm going to have this. And I don't know, I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, and I like that you have a good mix here of, like, people can just come in here if they can grab one of your wines off the shelf, or there's plenty of refrigerators that are keeping cold drinks.
Right.
Got your bar over here where you served, and you gave me a drink earlier, it was great, and I was like, I was kinda yeah, so really surprised by how much it tastes like the real thing, you know what I mean? And you're just not getting that whatever, the alcoholic, buzz. I'm a lightweight, so if I drink
Yeah.
anything at all with any kind 0.5 alcohol in it, like, right, like, eventually, I'm gonna get feel a little,
Oh, yeah.
wondering and buzzy. Um, but, like, with that is, like, I don't know, it's you get the like you said, the full flavor profile, and, it feels like you're drinking the real thing, but you're not
Yeah.
experiencing any of those negative effects that you would have. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we're really a 3rd place because we have the tasting room and lounge, and then we're now sitting in the relaxed lounge. So you can come here, you can be in a safe space
Yeah.
that's alcohol free. And we do micro events too. Like we work with the Phoenix, also known as the New Form. And so we host a sober karaoke once a month, last Saturday of each month. And we also host a crafting event
Hmm.
the last Sunday of each month called Sunday Sober Social.
Yeah.
So you can come and do crafting. And so it's just important, I think, because a lot of people think if you're not drinking, or they used to think that you couldn't have fun or be fun anymore,
Yeah.
but you can still socialize. You can still have a very full life alcohol free,
Absolutely.
and I'm living proof. So,
Yeah. Well, like, good for you, and I'm glad that you found that.
oh,
Mhm.
yes, absolutely.
My listeners know, because I talk about this all the time, extensively, but my father was adamant alcoholic,
Mm.
my entire life, abusive alcoholic, and, like,
Yeah.
you knew he was awake whenever you heard the beer can crack open from the living room, right? So that was just from that time until he passed out wherever it was in the yard, and what
Mhm.
and so, um, knowing that there were, alternatives out there, it's always interesting to hear about what could have been available for people that actually want to help themselves, you know what I mean? They
Right.
want to break away from what they, are getting into. Um, there are points, I've talked to plenty of, psychologists that have come on here and talked about all the studies, and talked about, when is it that there's a definitive line when you know that you're drinking too much or you have a
Mhm.
problem, right? And it's usually whenever several things that are basic, that are your basic duties as an adult, start falling apart,
Right.
right? You stopped making, lunches for the kids on times, or you're having to rush out the door more often, or you're not, like it's more of those things, you're slipping,
Right.
or it can be as bad as you got a DUI and now you're in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or worse.
Kinda gradually your life kind of gradually erodes.
So there's not always like a definitive marker for that, and you kind of have to come to it on your own conclusion of, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to get control of my life,
Right.
but I still like the feeling of the drink. You know what I mean? And that could be
Exactly.
really, yeah. So it's incredible to know that that's available here. I want to know more about. I have some questions about the sort of red tape that you have to cut through to even have a bar like this. Was there any kind of special licensing or anything that you had to acquire in order to serve
Good
here?
question. Because when we first opened, the non-alcoholic and the zero proof world was still pretty new.
Yeah.
So we had a really hard time finding distributors that would work with us without a TABC license. Of course, because when we had bars previously, we had a TABC license, but we explained to them we are not everything we're serving here is non-alcoholic or zero proof.
Right.
We don't have to have a TABC license. And so that was kind of hard at first, just making them understand
So they were only used to working with other locations that also sold
that
alcohol.
that sold
Had to have a
alcohol.
license.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly. And so we had to kind of break through that, and that took a little while, and that took a lot of conversations
Yeah.
with them to make them understand what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because we're actually, the first non-alcoholic bottle shop and event space in DFW, and we are the first consistently open, non-alcoholic bottle shop and event space in the state of Texas.
Wow.
So there are not many of us, and we're very unusual in what we're
Sure.
doing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's incredible. What about the city regulations or, have you faced any kind of obstacles that you had to overcome with that?
Well, when we were doing work to the space, because it was
Yeah.
initially a law office, so it was very kind of dull and gray, and
Yeah.
so we added a lot of color and
Livened it up a bit. Yeah.
gave it a personality. But, no, the city was great working with
Sure.
us. We told them what we were planning to do, that we wanted to have a tasting room and lounge, where we could serve full-size drinks, and they said, "Well, if you're serving drinks in glassware, you need to have a 3-compartment sink and a hand washing station." And so we put that in ourselves, to be sure that we were compliant.
Sure.
But no, I mean, it was once we knew what we needed to do, they were great and wonderful to work with. So
Good.
the city of Richardson is fantastic to work with.
Well, that's encouraging.
As a business owner, I've heard not all the surrounding cities are easy to work with when you're trying to open up a new business, with permits and things. So we were so lucky. The city was great to work with and very responsive.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Mhm.
I'd love to see more of these pop up around, you know what I mean?
Right.
Around the country. And yeah,
Absolutely, and there are definitely some more around the country.
good.
Yeah, there are. It's just, the hardest part, I would say, is competition maybe from big box stores,
Yeah.
but they don't have the knowledge that we do,
Right. You
and
specialize in it.
and they don't let you taste things, and they don't do social events. So that's our big differentiator is we have all of that on our
I
side.
think it's incredible, original, and
Thank
it's,
you.
one of those like it's an entrepreneurial thought, right?
It
It's just
is
like
the
you saw the need and it's not being
right.
filled. You created a solution and there was already a market for it. So like that's awesome. You
Absolutely.
got something completely unique here.
And thank you. And what was really cool was one of my customers inspired me to start teaching cocktail classes here. And so we have a Cocktail 101 class series
Uh,
where people can learn how to make one stirred and one shaken cocktail. And they get to enjoy their drinks and they leave with step-by-step instructions.
hmm,
And so I'm now also partnering with Chef Lindsay Autry. And we are doing some team building and corporate workshops with a side business called Fizz and Fromage, where I do my cocktail classes and she teaches you how to build the perfect charcuterie board.
okay. Nice.
And it's just fun because you're working together
Yeah.
to make these drinks. And you're tasting them and experiencing them together, and you learn how to work with the different elements of the
Mm,
charcuterie board and the
yeah.
flavor profiles that work with the beverages. And it's just fun and it's
Yeah.
delicious too.
It's smart. It's a smart idea. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Well, who doesn't love charcuterie,
Right.
right?
And finding which drinks go with it and yeah, it just goes
Exactly.
hand in hand. Yeah, this place is incredible. So I guess for anybody, I always ask people at the end of the show about, your experience, both personal and professional. Like,
Right.
what is something that you would say to your former self? But I mean, like, this didn't exist. So
Right.
this wasn't a solution you really had. So you created it for yourself, which is incredible. I guess so for those people that are now in that same position where they're just realizing, hey, you know what, I'm drinking too much and I want
Right.
an alternative, but I'm
Right.
not done like with the experience of a cocktail
Right.
or wine or drink. You know what I mean? Like I like that feeling.
Right.
What do you say to them?
Come on by. Well, we'll
Come
help
on
you
by.
we'll help you
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
because there's so much out there,
Yeah.
and we can find something that you'll enjoy that will scratch that itch. And that's the cool thing, is there's so many different products out there, and there's so many different options now, and everything here is curated. Um, and so whether you're just cutting down, or you're just like, okay, I'm just totally stopping drinking, because I just did dry January. I was a mindful drinker when we started doing our pop-up, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna do dry January."
Yeah.
You go for a month without drinking any alcohol, because I believed in what we were doing,
Right.
and I just kept going. So I'm coming up on year 3 now.
Nice.
And so, I mean, there are lots of choices and lots of options, and we can help you find something.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you, Julie. Thank you for allowing me to come in here and talk to you and learn from you. And yeah, it's been amazing. I'm glad to know that this exists and to hopefully push message out a little bit, you know.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out, and it was fun.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, thank you for watching this, by the way. We have over 10,000 subscribers now on the channel. Over the past year, we've climbed, tremendously, and that shows that there's a lot of interest. There are a lot of people who are looking to, what are my options if I want to go sober, right? And if you're listening to this on the podcast platforms, you can find us on YouTube, of course, at Long Term, a podcast in recovery. You know, the big ask here is not just that you subscribe or that you like, but that you share this message with someone that you know needs to hear it, right? Not everybody knows what options are available to them until somebody brings it to them. Hey, this is something that you could do. If you know somebody that could benefit off of hearing something that Julie just said, maybe they're in that same position that they were in, with her, say, hey, I've got an issue here, but I don't want to finish, I'm not done with these drinks. Um, I like the feeling, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. But knowing that there's a non-guilty option for them that they could get into that's a lot healthier and they can get control of their life again, that's important. That's incredible. Share this episode with them. The worst thing can happen is they don't listen to it. The best thing that can happen is it saves a life. So until next time, I appreciate you staying here and learning with us along on Long Term, and we'll see you in the next episode.